$6,000 off, $10,000 off, up to $12,000 off MSRP. Now until Labor Day at Coons Jeep and Tyson's Corner.
Tonight, several developing stories we're watching as we come on. The president and first lady leave town as yet another member of the president's innermost circle is now sharing secrets. The new immunity deal revealed today, this time involving the man who oversees President Trump's finances at his side for decades. Now we learn he has cut a deal with federal prosecutors, what Allen Weisselberg has told them. There is also news coming in tonight from the family of Senator John McCain, what they have now revealed, the deeply personal decision. The powerful hurricane striking now, and this evening the images coming in from Hawaii. More than 40 inches of rain expected, life-threatening floods already, and now fear of landslides. Our team right there tonight. The congressman and wife charged with spending campaign money from voters, spending it at Costco, on their kids' tuition, on a trip to Italy. Tonight, the congressman now turning on his wife, suggesting it was her. The highway sniper authorities say he was specifically targeting women drivers. Several women hit. Outraged tonight, a police officer struggling with a suspect he believed he was reaching for his gun. And a security guard is now accused of simply standing there, recording the entire thing. And it was the era of Dallas and Dynasty, but this was the man who got us inside. Tonight, we remember.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here to end another week. And we begin tonight with that major headline that broke today involving President Trump. The firestorm consuming this White House is now growing. This evening, we have learned of another close ally of President Trump is now cooperating with prosecutors. This time, the man who had overseen the president's finances for years. First, it was former personal attorney Michael Cohen pleading guilty this week to campaign finance violations and implicating the president, saying it was at the direction of the candidate. Then, close friend David Pecker, publisher of the National Enquirer, who protected Trump, we learned was also granted immunity by federal prosecutors. And tonight, we now know that Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Allen Weisselberg has now been granted immunity as well and has answered questions. President Trump and the First Lady leaving the White House today as yet another member of the president's innermost circle is now cooperating with prosecutors. Tonight, this man so close to the president's finances, what does he know? And the line of questioning we know he has already answered. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas leading us off.
He is the most powerful person in the Trump Organization, not named Trump, at the president's side for decades, even rewarded with a star turn on The Apprentice.
Replacing George this week is my Chief Financial Officer, Allen Weisselberg. And you think George is tough? Wait till you see Allen.
But tonight we are learning Allen Weisselberg has been cooperating with federal prosecutors investigating the president's longtime attorney and fixer Michael Cohen and hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels and Playboy playmate Karen McDougal. And in exchange for his help in the Cohen case, Weisselberg was granted immunity. Prosecutors say that when the president's personal attorney Michael Cohen paid off Daniels just days before the election, Weisselberg arranged for him to be reimbursed the following year. According to court documents, the company accounted for these payments as legal expenses. In truth and in fact, the monthly invoices Cohen submitted were not in connection to any legal service he had provided in 2017. They were for that hush payment before the election. Today's news about Weisselberg, yet another blow in a brutal week for President Trump.
Michael, what's your message to the president?
Tuesday, Cohen pleading guilty, admitting he broke campaign finance laws with a scheme to buy the silence of the two women in coordination with and at the direction of Donald Trump. Then we learned the president's close friend, National Enquirer publisher David Pecker, had cut his own immunity deal with prosecutors, telling them he was in cahoots with Cohen and that the president was aware. During the campaign, the Enquirer's support for Donald Trump plain for all to see. On the flip side, Pecker's supermarket tabloids tore into Hillary Clinton, headline after headline. Hillary failed secret lie detector test. Hillary Clinton's 2 secret strokes. Hillary, 6 months to live. But that wasn't all. A source telling ABC News, Pecker told prosecutors he bought negative stories about Trump and buried them, a practice known as catch and kill. The Enquirer stored documents about those deals in a safe. Shortly before the election, Pecker's company paid for the story of former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal, but never ran it.
Were you in love with him?
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you think he was in love with you?
He was, yeah.
In a secretly recorded conversation, Cohen and Trump seemed to discuss a plan to buy the rights to McDougal's story from the Inquirer publisher themselves. Cohen saying he'd already discussed the matter with that top Trump executive, Allen Weisselberg.
And I've spoken to Allen Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with funding. Yes.
They can also be heard discussing money.
When it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
Don't pay for cash.
No. I got... No.
When after the conversation, the campaign spokeswoman denied Trump knew anything about the McDougal agreement. On Air Force One, the president said he knew nothing about the payment to Stormy Daniels either.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why, Michael?
The president's story has changed again and again. This is what he's saying this week.
Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on.
But on one thing, the president is crystal clear. He has no love for longtime friends and fixers who turn against him.
Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair.
And Pierre Thomas with us live tonight from Washington. And Pierre, this has really been a head-spinning week, not only for the White House, but for folks at home likely trying to follow this all with us right here. First, it was the president's lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, pleading guilty, implicating the president in that hush money payment. Then his close friend David Pecker, who owns the National Enquirer, keeping stories about Trump locked up in that safe. He's now cooperating with prosecutors. And now you're reporting tonight, Pierre, is chief financial officer from the Trump Organization, also cooperating with federal prosecutors. So, Pierre, these are people in the president's innermost circle. What are we learning tonight from our White House troops about how the president is handling this?
David, sources say he's been fuming about Cohen all week, and he's furious that his chief financial officer is caught up in all this. Remember, the president has emphatically said that prying into the family business would be crossing a real red line, David.
Pierre Thomas leading us off on a Friday night. Pierre, thank you. We are going to move on now to tonight's other major story, and it involves Senator John McCain. After a year-long battle with brain cancer, his family revealing today a deeply personal decision. He has now chosen to discontinue medical treatment, in their words. Senator McCain has not been seen in Washington since December. He has remained, though, a driving force in this highly polarized time. His daughter, Meghan McCain, who posted this photograph by his side after surgery last year, tonight she's thanking everyone for their generosity and their support. Tonight here, what we've now learned from ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, the family of John McCain gathering by his side at his Arizona home. After more than a year fighting brain cancer, their statement straightforward. The progress of disease and the inexorable advance of age render their verdict. With his usual strength of will, he has now chosen to discontinue medical treatment. His wife, Cindy, adding, "I love my husband with all my heart. God bless everyone who has cared for my husband along this journey." And what a journey it has been. The 81-year-old Republican has spent his life in service to our country. A Navy pilot, McCain was shot down over North Vietnam in 1967, captured, beaten, tortured, and held prisoner of war for more than 5 years. Once home, despite crippling injuries, McCain's public service continued. Nearly 4 decades in politics as a fighter, unafraid of criticism.
Stand up and fight.
2 campaigns for president, winning the Republican nomination in 2008, where McCain did something rarely seen in modern-day politics. He defended his opponent.
I can't trust Obama. He's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen.
McCain was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2017, returning to the Senate floor just days after having brain surgery to cast his last vote on health care in that classic McCain maverick fashion. Autumn would bring McCain's final public appearances with his daughter Meghan on The View.
I love you so much.
And an emotional speech in Philadelphia.
I'm the luckiest guy on earth. I see now that I was part of something important.
McCain has spent these final months with family and friends, and reflecting in his autobiography on the power of humanity.
Before I leave, I'd like to see our politics begin to return to the purposes and practices that distinguish our history from the history of other nations. I'd like to see us recover our sense that we are more alike than different.
Which is so true. And Martha, I just love how he says he's the luckiest guy on earth, even in this biggest battle of his lifetime. I know there's been an outpouring of support and prayers really for the senator across the nation and across the political spectrum.
That's right, David. John Kerry saying McCain has shown us what the words grace and grit really mean. His good friend Joe Lieberman saying that being McCain's friend has been one of the greatest blessings of his life. And this powerful statement from Mitt Romney, who said, "No man this century better exemplifies honor, patriotism, service, sacrifice, and country first than Senator John McCain." And there are many, many more people praising him as well.
No
David?
question. And Martha, you know, he's his whole life he's been a fighter, and our thoughts tonight are with Senator McCain and his family. Martha Raddatz with us. Martha, thank you. We move on tonight to the state of emergency at this hour. Hurricane Lane lashing the Hawaiian Islands. The slow-moving Category 2 storm with winds up to 105 miles per hour. The Wailuku River raging tonight on the Big Island. More than 30 inches of rain already falling, and we've now been told tonight they expect 40 inches of rain or more before this is over. The storm is not expected to turn away from Hawaii for another 24 hours, and there is real fear the flash flooding could be life-threatening. Their word tonight, catastrophic. ABC's Gio Benitez from Maui.
Tonight, Hurricane Lane bringing catastrophic flooding to Hawaii's Big Island. More than 30 inches of rain already and up to 20 inches more on the way. Flash flooding overtaking roads, the storm's movement slowing to a crawl.
It's really bad for us because the longer this storm lingers near the islands, that means the longer we will see impacts.
Crews working into the night to clear debris amidst fear of more landslides. Conditions deteriorating across the islands in the hours ahead. We're just getting the first of those powerful bands over Maui. It is windy, it is rainy, and forecasters say it's about to get a lot worse. Fierce winds here blowing out hotel windows. Another concern, strong winds are definitely helping to fuel the fire. This fast-moving brush fire erupting in the middle of the night. Multiple fires now burning, dozens of homes evacuated as the storm closes in. And David, we are feeling those very strong winds right now, but we're looking at the potential for days and days of rain if the system stays in the area, and that's just a recipe for even more extreme flooding. David? All right, Gio Benitez there in Maui tonight. Gio, thank you. Let's get right to senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. He's tracking the storm. He's on the island of Oahu for us tonight. Rob, the concern is this rain relentless.
Very much so, David. You know, just 150 miles to our south is Hurricane Lane, and it's heading in this direction, hopefully, for not much longer. Here's a satellite picture. It's not quite as symmetrical, no longer an eye, but a formidable Category 2 storm that is slow moving. The forecast track has it turning west by 8 o'clock local time tomorrow morning, but still dangerously close to Honolulu, potentially still making landfall, but lingering through the weekend. So that does mean more heavy rain, potentially over 40 inches of rain total, more mudslides and winds that will at least knock out some power here in Honolulu. Final preps have been made, but an anxious wait for that turn. David?
Of course, the rain already hitting and headed to where Rob is next. Rob, our thanks to you tonight. And next this evening to the congressman and wife charged, accused of spending campaign money from voters at Costco on their kids' tuition, on a trip to Italy. Well, tonight that congressman now appears to be turning on his wife, suggesting it was her. Again tonight, ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Tonight, embattled Congressman Duncan Hunter appearing to implicate his wife as the Marine vet attempts to defend himself against allegations that both used $250,000 in campaign money to pay for personal expenses.
When I went to Iraq in 2003, the first time, I gave her power of attorney, and she handled my finances throughout my entire military career, and that continued on when I got into Congress. She was also the campaign manager, so whatever she did on that'll be looked at too, I'm sure. But I didn't do it.
But according to this 47-page indictment, the couple spent donor money on lavish family vacations to places like Italy, for shopping at Costco, their kids' tuition, gas, groceries, dental work, even transportation for the family pet, widely reported to be a rabbit. Prosecutors say at one point the lawmaker's staff warned him about his wife Margaret's improper use of campaign funds, but Hunter lashed out, accusing his staff of disloyalty. Amid chants of lock him up, the Hunters walked into federal court Thursday separately, saying little afterwards.